Port Huron being a port city, and here on the what river is it, St. Clair River?
Yeah.
Also has the Black River here that empties into the St. Clair River. Can I go across?
Yeah, go straight and get behind them.
There's a drawbridge, and we're gonna jump right in line here, and we're gonna watch this drawbridge raise up and a boat go through. Usually I would be angry about waiting for a drawbridge, but I think it's pretty cool. I haven't been by a drawbridge opening in quite a while, and you can see down the, I believe this is the Black River here. It's all boats up and down both sides of the water. And somewhere right around here is the Port Huron Yacht Club that hosts the annual Port Huron to Mackinac sailboat race every summer, which should be coming up actually within the next week or two, right?
I think so.
That'd be a big party event to come over here for, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It might be coming from the right. Yep,
I'm shining over here this way because there's a boat coming through. I just saw that. I thought I just saw some rigging going through.
Go. Yep, I see.
Oh yeah, cabin cruiser. The Enchantress motor yacht. Very lovely. There might be more. Yep, there's the only one. The bridge is going back down. How about that? I love drawbridge. Port Huron even has a little Hollywood history to it, as the 1940 movie, the Thomas Edison story, premiered right here at the Huron Theater in 1940 with Mickey Rooney. And they chose to actually have the grand opening right here. And I think that's pretty cool. Alright, now we're just a little bit north of Port Huron. Looking across the river into Ontario, Canada, you can see the two big freighters over there. That's like the big chemical and industrial center of Ontario over there. The Sarnia area has a lot of chemical and petroleum factories. This is the St. Clair River, which is one of the busiest international shipping waterways in the country, probably in the world, because it's a constant flow of ships coming back and forth through the Great Lakes, working their way through the St. Lawrence Seaway, all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean. River's running high and fast right now, empties out of Lake Huron, and heads down to Lake St. Clair near Detroit. But right here, there's also, to help keep us area safe and secure, is a U.S. Coast Guard station with the USS Hollyhock. An active Coast Guard ship. Cool to see it just sitting here. Now we're going to move on to some actual Thomas Edison boyhood locations, starting with the train station he's famous for. Alright, this is the representative train car of the type that Thomas Edison would have ridden on every day from Port Huron to Detroit and back. And we're not going to be able to see in it because there's no steps on it to get up and look inside, but we might, just might be able to get a little view of it from the side here because the light's streaming in. And if I had my gimbal here, we would be able to see. Let's have a look, see what we see in there. I don't know if that's going to turn out or not, but we shall see. Oh, and here's the Stationmaster's office. That could be young Mr. Edison himself running the telegraph machine, couldn't it? This is amazing. Look at that. Now, I know there's a lot of you Tesla fans out there, but, you know, and Tesla deserves his credit for sure, but Edison is still a great inventor and a great American from history. There we go. Look at that. And Port Huron is certainly proud of their Thomas Edison heritage. There's also a little memorial here to the history of the Blue Water Bridge, which opened in 1938. Alright, we're going to keep walking. See what else we got here. Oh, another little diorama with Thomas Edison here inside.
We're doing the same thing.
Here's a little plaque memorializing ship traffic on the Great Lakes. Mentions that the Griffin was the first ship to pass through here in 1679. Lost somewhere in Lake Michigan, between Michigan and Wisconsin, soon after that. And another little informational thing here, talking about the Native American history of the region. And the tribes that were here when the white settlers first arrived. And this plaque here honors the immigration to the area throughout the years, where they settled at Fort Gratiot and then were dispersed out into the countryside. And here's the museum itself. $10 to get in. Closes at 10 to 5 every day. Really a cool old train station, I gotta say. There's of course a gift shop in here with some old-timey stuff. I'm gonna go check out this other historical marker. Alright, this marker will tell us a little bit more about Thomas Edison and his work on the railroad. 12-year-old Thomas Edison departed daily on the Port Huron to Detroit Run. 1859, the first year of operation, he persuaded the company to let him sell newspapers and candy on the daily trips. He soon placed 2 newsboys on other trips and made enough money to support himself and to buy chemicals for his experiment. Very good, very ambitious young man. Let's go. Here's a small map and informational chart about the original fort that was built here in 1814 to guard this junction of the river during the War of 1812 with Britain. And the fort itself is here. It expanded over the years and had a series of civilian housing units built, and that's where the Edison family was actually living in the 1850s. Oh, it looks like we have some replicas here of some Edison machine, the motion picture machine. There's a replica right here of Edison's first moving picture machine. That would be pretty cool to check out, operated by hand crank. And then there's like a giant electric light bulb there. I heard there's some of the rarest light bulbs ever in here, with 5,000 watt electric incandescent bulb, the largest ever built. And then something else here about the Edison home site, what we talked about earlier. The house burned down about 7 years after the family left the area, and then some railroad tracks came through that particular area, protecting the site. About the early to mid-90s, the area was cleared out and excavated, and they recovered many artifacts that seemingly could go along with the history and the story of Thomas Edison living there and having a laboratory in the basement. The site has been recovered and is an empty lot in a subdivision now. Being such a close location to Canada, just across that river there, runaway slaves would frequently make their way to Detroit, Port Huron, and all those communities in between in order to attempt to sneak across the river into Canada in order to be free from having to worry about being returned to their owners in the southern. Right. Also during Prohibition, the alcohol was still legal just across that narrow river in Canada while it was outlawed here in the United States. So that provided a great opportunity for any enterprising person to go over to Canada and smuggle some illegal spirits back over to the US side for a quick profit. Would you look at the size of this rock? I mean, it's enormous. I had to drive over here and walk up here just to see this giant rock and why it was here with this bronze plaque on it. And this is actually the Thomas Edison Memorial Rock, placed here in honor of the 125th anniversary of the invention of the light bulb in 2004. Then the original plaque was erected, and then the rock was erected in 1929, where near where the home of Thomas Edison stood when his family lived here from 1854 to 1864 on the Fort Gratiot Military Reservation. That's pretty interesting. There's a drawing of possibly what the house might have looked like. There are no existent photographs of the house, and the house itself burned down in 1870, 7 years after the family had left Michigan. I just had to stop and include this really cool building here from 1882. Very interesting building. Here's something you don't see every day. An actual weather station from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.